Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and today, 'tis the season of love and I'm going to put you guys all through the saddest Final Fantasy and sad and romanticest Final Fantasyest songs that you've ever heard. It is the Valentine's Banner Review. And let me tell you something, I'm a bit of a softie at heart. I know a lot of times I can get very angry, like in the last video, where I was incredibly pissed at Alum for everything they're doing, and I'm still pissed at Alum for everything they're doing. But, that being said, I'm actually a show me a love story, and you'll never get me to cry, but trust me, on the inside, it's a little bit tough not to get a little weepy. And here it is, the Valentine's Day event, an event that I am actually really excited for. Why? Because I think that, first of all, this event is a really cool idea. It gives us something to do with those useless friend points. See, like right here. Holy cow, a little expensive. Let's see what we get from doing this. I don't even know if this is good, but look at all that stuff. Look at all that. Oh, wow. I'm finally clearing out my friend points. This has been months in the making. Oh my god. Yes, summon more. Summon more, Asriel. Oh yes. Oh yes. This is beautiful. This is like cathartic, man. After being so angry on the last banner and now just being able to clear out all of 10,000 friend points in a single go, this is beautiful. I friggin' love this. So, let's talk about the Valentine's Day event characters, because while I have come down incredibly hard on CG Dark Vina, I will say this. The Valentine's Day event makes sense that this is limited time, and I totally am fine with this. I think it's really cool, the idea of making a limited time event. We don't get enough of these, really. We don't see enough stuff for Christmas or Halloween or anything like that, which, while not being the biggest popular holidays in Japan and everything, they are starting to gain popularity, and it would be really cool if we could see, you know, more of this being popular. So I really like this a lot. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a new banner without, or a new event without some new characters, and this is where my tone changes a little bit. I'm going to tell you guys out there to be very careful on this. While the CG Fina banner is definitely a money screw job, so is the Valentine's Day banner. Taking a look at this, you'll notice that there are special tickets. The FFBE SS 2019-2 tickets. So what is so special about these tickets? Well, you can exchange 5 of them for a sweet Nichol or Luca at random, and that's the big asterisk. You do not get to choose, you do get one of these characters at random, and the max 10 tickets are for doing every single step up possible, meaning that you need to spend 78k lapis. I'm just going to flat say it right now, I do not approve of this step up at all, much like the... Well, I will give this more of a pass than CG Dark Vina. I am still going to recommend that you guys just do not do the step-ups on this one. Mainly because I don't want to encourage Alum to do this kind of shit anymore. I think that this is really, really, really shitty, the way they are trading everyone basically as wallets. And for anybody wondering, at this point in the year, I have not spent a single dime on Brave Exvius, and I will continue to not to, so long as this shit keeps happening. This is ridiculous, the fact that we are actually going backwards in terms of generosity. So, yeah, I am just not okay with this, even in a little bit, and I don't think any of you guys should be either. But, are the characters any good? Are they even worth pulling? Well, let's just get right into this, because we gotta talk about Nichol first. And I gotta give props to Alum on this one, like I'm back and forth. The event's good, but the step-up's bad, but the phrasing's so good, or the way it's done is so good. I think it's really cool that they're obviously making characters for both males, females, and people who like, you know, their own gender. I think that's really cool. Too many times it feels like we just get characters that are only to the male demographic. And I think females should be a little represented too, as well as, you know, anybody out there who is not straight. I think that's great. But let's talk about Nichol. So, Sweet Nichol. TMR is the Valentine tuxedo, which is just a fantastic thing to exist. 12 defense, 60 magic, 20 spirit, and resist ice of 30%. Really nice piece of clothing for any mage in the game. It's clothing, it's not a robe, so it doesn't work with CG Darkvina, which is a little bit too bad. And if you guys thought we were done, well, that's just the first song. Let's do the second one. So, here we go. The music's a little distracting, but there you go. Super Trust Mastery, 60% magic boost on a materia, plus 40% MP, 80% ice resistance. I don't feel like this is super needed. I feel like there's a lot of good ice support out there already on other Super TMRs. And in other places, I wouldn't complain about the ice resistance, but I don't think this is really needed. Looking at Sweet Nichol, he's kind of interesting. He's kind of a thing that I've wanted in the game for a little bit. He has pretty decent stats overall. Magic is base 219 with extra passives. Doesn't come close to what CG Darkvina is. I wonder why. Equipment's a little bit restricted. Daggers, staffs, rods, and harps. Not the greatest selection in the world, but not terrible. Limit Burst is Heartbeat Axle. A self 100% magic and spirit break resistance for 4 turns enables access to quadricasting for 4 turns and a 200% modifier for a couple of his abilities for 5 turns. Pretty decent. He also has some really nice magic from basically ice and water up to freeze and flood, so that's pretty cool. He also has a new attack, Raging Ice. A magic boost, or a magic attack that is a single hit that powers itself up to 10 times, so it's pretty strong eventually. Now, passive-wise in his kit, he gets a couple of abilities for beating the FFBE series boss. Sweet Soldier, 20% Spirit, HP, Esper stats, and 100% Limit Burst fill rate. Temptations is sweet. He has a Charm 20% every turn, so he can charm the enemy naturally. That's kind of interesting. Chance to counter physical attacks with Attentive Attendant, AoE, MP recovery, and same with magic attacks, 10% MP recovery per turn. Ice and water resistance naturally, more magic when equipped with a rod, natural charm resistance, extra magic equipped with clothing, W casting and triple casting, triple black magic, defense plus 20, and some extra boosts for dual wielding magic. So, passive-wise, considerably weaker than CG Darkvina, but kind of interesting for some counters that he does have. Looking at the rest of his kit, Heartbeat Axle, which he gets for beating the FFC series boss, self 100%. Oh, wait, we already said that. Huh, this is interesting. Or it's a second one. He has an AoE charm ability. He has Chaos Wave chaining for both ice, which is really good. We've needed another ice Chaos Wave chainer. So it's pretty cool. He should be able to pair with Kyodofina. OTP, I guess. Probably some people out there that are not going to be happy about me saying that. Love Down and Melt Heart are both magic attacks that are Chaos Wave chaining, at least the way it's read. Love Down is also debuffs water resistance for 4 turns of 75%. He can give AoE ice and water resistance of 80% to the party. He has a stronger ice debuffing chaining, only 75% debuff though, so not the greatest. AoE MP recovery of 60. He has lots of Chaos Wave chaining if it's not misput in the system. as well as looks like some non-elemental that give buffs to his some of his other abilities. Tactics Love, a debuff of ice and water resistance 100% for 4 turns. Enables access to Honey Whisper, Quadracasting for 4 turns. 6-turn cooldown, available turn 1. And Dramatic Rise, a self 200% magic buff with a self 500% modifier for Melting Heart, Ice Bloom for 4 turns. And a 5-turn cooldown. So, pretty darn interesting. Overall, before I start the next song, this is just a pretty decent Quadracasting magic chainer for ice and water. If you don't have anybody that you can chain with on this guy, probably a pretty easy pass, and I would say that he is definitely not the better of the 2 characters on the banner. Sweet Nichol is definitely interesting enough that I think he'll be a passable mage. Pretty good, but given what I've seen with CG Darkvina, he feels really underpowered in comparison. So, yeah, consider that before you pull too hard on him. Alright, now, next one. And this is the sadder song. This song actually does really get me every time. Here it is. Let's talk about Sweet Luca. Brother and sister Valentine's Day banner, though. Oh boy, someone at Allen really has problems. Alright, so, let's get into it. Trust Mastery. Accessory, 45 defense, 30 magic, 45 spirit, 30% HP, and resist water of 30%. This thing is stupid. This thing is just stupidly good. This is a really good accessory for a lot of different kinds of characters. And yeah, I'm going to be totally honest. I really would like to get my hands on at least 3, 4, maybe 5 of these. Seems just really good. Speaking of really good, Super Trust Mastery is a 40% Spirit, 40% HP, 60% Water, Wind, and Light resistance. Really good for mages, tanks, healers, dogs, cats, iguanas, and a turtle or 2. Yeah, this is just really, really good overall. Now, looking at her kit, interestingly, pretty good amount of HP, pretty good amount of MP. Base Spirit is 207, base Magic is 217. More of a Spirit kit, but definitely not an incredibly strong character by any means. Looking at her, like, she's very much more a little bit tankier with a pretty high defense and Spirit and HP that can also do some chaining too. Kit-wise, basically the same equipment that Nichol can use, so nothing overly surprising there. Limit Burst is Present Suites. AoE 11 hit, 1200% magic attack, that AoE 70% HP recovery with a 3,000 or 36,000 HP heal split over 3 turns. That's a fair amount of healing. Actually, it might be 11 plus 1 hit. Anyway, 38 crystals is kind of, well, it's pretty expensive, but the amount of HP it heals is also static too, no matter how much you've leveled her Limit Burst. That's just a really strong Limit Burst, or like HP recovery. That is a lot of HP recovery while doing some damage too. So I gotta say I'm pretty liking it. In her kit for passives, she gets basically passives plus resistance, poison, blind, sleep, silence, paralyze, confuse, natural W casting, which pretty much everything is W castable, I'm pretty sure actually everything is, and 100% chance to ignore 2 fatal attacks when her HP is over 1%, which is pretty tanky, to be, you know, honest. MP of 20%, the Thought Put in Chocolate, Defense, Spirit, HP, MP, and 100% disease resistance and Petrify. So if you get her to a 7-star, she's pretty much just status effect immune, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But what about the rest of her kit? What about the offensive? Well, she has Wind Whip, which is AT chaining, 8-hit wind chaining. That pairs really nicely with Bart's. Also, Self Limit Burst Fill, and an AoE 80% Wind resistance for 3 turns, so she can give elemental resistance on her chaining. Kind of cool. Light Whip. 7 hits Divine Ruination chaining that also fills her limit burst. And gives an AoE 80% light resistance. And if you can guess, there's Water Whip, which is Water Chaos Wave chaining, I guess, to pair with Nichol, which is fine. 4 to 5 limit burst crystals and 80% water resistance. So basically, she has potential to chain with a lot of different people, although her elements are very locked and her passives seem quite low. So she's not going to be dishing out a ton of damage. If anything, this character is probably meant to be on a team where she is a backup chainer, chaining with another character to effectively enable a chain finisher, which is a really interesting idea to say the least. But more than that, she also has topping abilities. Water, Wind, and Light. She can give element to a character for 5 turns. Currently on the FFB database, I believe it's parsed wrong, and it says allies, but it is a single character. If it is a mistake, I'll correct it later, but yeah. She also has Melty Down, Water Wind, Water Light, and Wind, basically debuffs for multiple elements of 100% for 5 turns, while buffing the party 120% on the Water Wind debuff for attack, defense, magic, and spirit for 5 turns, so that's cool. She can be a buffer and debuffer. She also can debuff Water and Light while giving a 30% magic damage mitigation. And for Wind and Light, she gives 150% limit burst fill rate to the party. No, it just says 150% limit burst fill rate for 5 turns to herself, I guess. Perfectly fine, I think, but yeah. Next. Really hitting all the steps today. So yeah. Now, that's basically it. Looking at her the rest of her kit is basically RNG, such as candy making, which randomly casts either a self 100 MP recovery or enables cocoa pudding, adult brownies, whatever the hell that means. Enchanted. Oh my god, I want her just because she has an attack called adult brownies, which obviously I'm guessing means weed brownies. I did not read that before I started this video. That's amazing. Or she, basically a 75% chance to do that, or a 25% chance to enable a 100 MP recovery and enables Luxury Choco a la mode. Then she has other cooldown abilities, which are RNG as well. Fortunate Chocolate Cookie, which casts either AoE 40% damage reduction for 3 turns, that's a 50% chance, 40% damage reduction for 3 turns, and enables Luxury Choco a la mode for 1 use, 50% chance, or just nothing. Interesting. 5-turn cooldown, available turn 1. And Tricolor Candy Court, which randomly casts either an AoE 100% Water, Wind, Light resistance for 5 turns, 50% chance, and AoE 100% Water, Wind, Light for 5 turns, and enables Luxurious Choco a la mode for 1 use, 50% chance, or nothing. This is on a 9-turn cooldown, available turn 1. And for those of you wondering what those abilities are, well, Smooth Cocoa Pudding apparently is an AoE 150% all buff for the for 3 turns to the entire party. Adult Brownies is an AoE 30% damage reduction for 3 turns. Or Enchanted Sarchort is a 3000 HP barrier for 3 turns. Candy Making is a self 100 MP that enables Luxury Chocolate a la mode. Luxury Chocolate a la mode is 164 MP, but an AoE 200% buff to all stats for 3 turns, 30% damage reduction for 3 turns, and an AoE 3000 HP barrier for 3 turns. So I gotta say, out of all the characters that I've heard about so far, I really love Sweet Luca so much. She is just such a weird character, and we don't get enough just weird characters that literally make you go, huh, how do I fit this into a team? Sweet Luca has some interesting chaining partners between water, light, and wind. Water being the worst because I think it's only her brother. Again, I'm not saying anything, but I am making this face. It's weird. Yeah. When it comes right down to it, I really like a lot of things about Luca. Nichol, I'm kind of half warm on. He seems like a chainer that is needed, but he just seems so much worse than CG Darkfina. So, yeah, that's a really weird spot to just be in, I guess. Sweet Luca is just kind of the character that really is right up my alley. She's a weird chainer. She's not exactly a strong character to look at, but looking at her, I really want to try and fit her into just a whole bunch of different parties because she has just such a weird kit. It reminds me of Chocobo Fino when she came out. Everyone's like, oh, it's a spirit chainer, but oh, it's a spirit chainer with a lot of utility. That's really cool. Sweet Luca seems to have everything, which is something that I'm going to say. An interesting kit with potentially really neat utility. Sweet earrings, which is an amazing TMR, an amazing super TMR as well, and really cool limit burst that does damage as well as just heals the entire party for multiple turns. I have no idea how you make a party with this character because she's not quite a healer, but she's also not quite anything else either. She's weird, she's fantastic. I gotta give credit to Ellen on this, although I don't recommend doing the step up. Not even a little bit. Those tickets are pure bait. So yeah, when it comes right down to it, the Valentine's Day banner this year is really showing some love for the players. And the event itself, I'm hoping, will be just really cool and really fun because it's such a weird thing right now. And I think of a Doctor Who quote, which maybe lost me some viewers, but man. Right now, the good things don't always outweigh the bad things, but the bad things don't always ruin the good things. And for all of you guys, I hope you guys have a happy Valentine's Day. I hope the gacha shows you some love if you are pulling. But otherwise than that, it's just a pretty cool banner, a pretty cool event, and we all deserve a little bit of love every year. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.